Jeez, I lost my line already. So
Okay, stand up, Vanguard. Okay.
no, that's totally not catching on. Okay, hello everybody. This is the captain speaking here, and then I have with me Leon and Dempster. We've got John and we've got Ben and we've got Isa here as well.
Hi.
And so we're gonna be talking about G-BT02. So yeah, so this podcast we're just gonna have our brief expressions to it and stuff. So let's just kick the ball rolling as well. General impressions. What was the first things that you guys think?
Yeah. Narukami. Okay, basically because this deck is actually not deck lah. This booster is actually more up our alley because the main focus for this set is Aqua Force, and then we also have a support for Narukami, Neo Nectar, Great Nature, and of course Gear Chronicle, Royal Paladin, Kree Elemental, so on and so forth.
I know you're quite biased to Aqua Force, but the set does mainly boost Neo Nectar as well.
Come on, it's my starting clan, so of course I have to say some nice things to it lah.
No.
Anyways, let's just get to the nitty-gritty right now, because we know this box came out just after the two TDs came out for Aqua Force and for Neo Nectar.
Correct.
Okay, so just to troll the fans a little bit, so let's talk about Neo Nectar first. Neo Nectars. Sure. Dempster, you had the Neo Nectar deck, and later you also played Neo Nectar deck. So just tell me the TD, how was it? So.
Okay, I'll say the TD, it gives the deck a lot of high numbers. However, it does allow us to call like multiple copies of the same copy that's on the field, meaning like we call it the photocopy mechanic. Basically, it also does, how do I say it? It plays off with Asha, which is the Break Stride unit of the clan. Basically, it's similar to how Sephiroth plays. You remember that card back in set 8?
Sephiroth.
Stop.
I will kill you later.
Not that one, I believe.
But yeah, it was my first time playing that, and I did find it quite interesting from a first impression. Yeah, I did have some problems with it in which while the deck is able to swarm, unlike Royal Paladins and the other Paladins, it was also prone to retire prone to field disruption.
The other Paladins. Sorry, I got stuck at the other Paladins. So it's like,
Well, there's Shadow, there's Gold, there's Royal. That's it.
yeah, so it's like Royal Paladin and other Paladins.
I feel so marginalized.
Yeah, we have one Shadow Paladin, feel so compartmentalized. So, but anyways, Dempster, you have the boosts from the TD for Neo Nectar. So what were they like?
Okay, let's start off the TD first. Like what Benjamin has said, some of the cards in there, even though Neo Nectar allows you to superior call from the deck, like pretty much like what Royal Paladin does, and Gold Paladin of course. But the problem with this particular set is that it requires at least one unit you want to superior call on the field in order to superior call from your deck, which it could be a problem because these units will be prone to being retired or sent back to deck. Either by Narukami, Kagero, or Gear Chronicle for that matter.
But isn't that the characteristics of the Neo Nectar? They always call units from their deck or for the same unit. Like take for when we first came out, Cecilia.
Correct.
Cecilia was the same, even though it was the Vanguard deck, but still you have to have her as the Vanguard in order to call the others out to the field.
Yes. So that's where the new set actually comes in. A lot of these sets, right, actually gives your field benefits if they have units of the same name on the field. So this is the current the current new ability that Neo Nectar has. Coupled with the TD, actually during your turn, some of these units can be quite devastating. And also with the advent of the new stand trigger for Neo Nectar, especially in the TD, which the skill is to put this stand trigger to the top of your deck, choose 2 units and they gain 5k. So couple that with Asha's Generation Break 2 skill, which is all units get, so long as they have the same name, so long as the 2 of the same units on the field, they gain 5k. So this actually makes for a very devastating play because it forces your opponent to throw out more cards to guard, and especially if they have a PG, they'll PG that as well. If they're too lazy to calculate, that is. So yeah, it actually
I feel like there's a low blow to me with Sazanda.
kind of. So yeah, it's actually quite offensive, and at the same time, it can be quite defensive as well if you know how to guard. So yeah.
And not counting its new nectar, the new nectar basic boost, right, for the new set. They also had some back boosting as well, just like the last set of GBT01. They had boosting for Musketeer.
Yes.
Why Musketeer?
Yes.
But yeah,
But
If you guys don't know, Leon has a very, very hard hatred for new nectars.
okay, but the good thing and maybe the bad thing for the Musketeer players is that these cards, these Musketeer cards in this set, does not specifically. Actually, some of these. Actually, yeah. It's quite scary. So.
You got any
Yeah,
points
screwed.
to add, Ben?
No, but I do want to talk about, if we want to go a bit off topic, we want to go talk about one promo card.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because like what Dempster earlier said, one of Neo Nectar's, also their main problem is also the 4 copy syndrome.
Yes. If you
Yes.
run out, you run out.
Yes, so because since we call from the deck, we cannot really superior call like those units if they have 1 damage checked or 2
Correct.
drawn, which are the common things that we do in Vanguard.
Yes.
However, yes, there's one promo card that does sort of help out fix this problem called Maiden of Flower Screen.
Yep.
It's basically this card that you can choose 1 card from your drop zone, put it on top of the deck, and it's treated as that name
Yes.
until end of the turn. So that is also one of the things that does help out one of New Nectar's main problems.
And another thing that actually sort of helps this problem as well is the G-Rare for this new set called Primavera. What she does actually is you counterblast 3, and when this unit attacks, you can send 5 normal units from your drop zone to your deck and then photocopy. So it actually sort of eliminates the problem of having a risk of your units getting retired. So it actually kind of recycles the deck in a way.
I find it funny to use the word photocopy for plants.
Okay, then
ironic.
clone.
Clone.
That should work in a
No, they grow like weeds.
Okay, fine.
okay, to put it simply, right, the G-Ray has a skill that is technically Musketeer. Because
Yes.
way before this set, right, Musketeer Cecilia itself plays that very tax. Just that you need to spiral call 2 Cecilias in order to do that.
Yep.
But otherwise, that text is technically from Cecilia, with the counterblast tree.
You can say also, Cecilia also took was the inspiration behind the Legions also.
Yeah, that thing can.
Okay, yeah, go
Moving
ahead.
on.
Yeah, so we'll just move on a little bit. So, I said we were going to talk about Aqua Force, but let's talk about the Narukami instead.
Hey!
we go with Aqua Force. After all, Aqua Force is the main star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Together with the Neo Nectar, so we should spend more time on this.
I'm just kidding you guys also.
Okay.
Not really.
So-
Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Aqua Force right now. Dempster, as you said, you first you're playing Aqua Force,
Yes.
the TDs, and then all the old stuff as well.
Yeah.
So the new TD, how was it?
The new TD, I'd say it's, honestly speaking from a personal point of view, it's actually quite lackluster if you just pit the TDs against each other, because there are actually quite a lot of things you can't do, and some things that actually contradict with what Aqua Force is really known for, which is to attack and attack and attack. So some of the cards, which I would say is actually the bare minimum for all clans, but it's kind of useless, not say useless, it's not very feasible for Aqua Force, are the Defenders for one, the 12k attacker, because now it's a GB 12k attacker, it's a lot slower, and then we have the 9k attackers as well, which I honestly think, it's kind of pointless to be honest, because once you actually ride up to a grade 3 and strike, you might as well throw the grade 2 12k attackers out instead. So with the new boosts coming in, it is actually a lot stronger. I've been playing it for a while now, and I noticed there is a significant increase in aggressiveness for Aqua Force since the past few boosts. This new capability for Aqua Force is that one main problem for Aqua Force is mainly because it lacks power, although it has the rushing capability. So with this new set coming in, what it does is some of these cards can restand, and instead of deducting power or basically does nothing, it actually adds power. So in the TD, there is actually a card called Magnum Assault. What it does is for GB1, when it's boosted after your attacks, you can stand this unit again and it gets increased in 2k, which is actually very useful because once it kicks your opponent's Vanguard and it decides to take a damage, plus 5k to Vanguard naturally, then of course you cannot hit the Vanguard anymore. So but with the plus 11k, it can actually knock your rearguard, your opponent's rearguards a little if they are grade 3. So it actually has a bit of a use here. And also one interesting card that I like to point out is Stasia in the new set, because she is one of the very few, or maybe in fact the only card that is able to attack from the back row. Back then, Kagero has a card similar of that. I think it was Wyvern something, right?
No.
That one attacks the back row.
Yeah.
But for this one, it attacks from the back row. So instead of being a boost, it actually becomes a 9k independent attacker on her own, which is very useful, especially if you want to rack up battle counters. And then we have Lambros. That scary thing. Currently I don't play it because I don't have enough of it, but basically what Lambros does is when he attacks and it's the 4th battle or more, you flip one Lambros over and pick 2 units, they stand, and then if you have 2 G units face up on the on your G zone, those units plus 10k.
Yeah.
So it's
speaking to about the unit, the grade 1 that actually attacks is 9k.
Yes.
Yeah, so Leon, you play Maelstrom. You play the Maelstrom decks. Would you find that card useful in that?
Magnum Assault?
Yeah.
No, Magnum Assault is too slow for this case. Because the one thing about Maelstrom and comparing to Lambros setup, right, is that Maelstrom needs to hit faster and needs to be harder. That's why if you try to put in GB stuff into that deck, it slows down the process. Maelstrom itself is already very strong. Even with without the critical from this set as well that boosts mainly to Maelstrom and the Restander, he can live without it, honestly speaking. If Magnum Assault is in there, it's gonna be equally contradicting to its original setup because the deck is just no delays. I need to hit you now, that kind of thing, Lambros can delay, it's fine with it because all the basic boosting for Lambros for this set was everything that 3rd cycle onwards. But Maelstrom needs the 4th. And you cannot be allowed to be pulled back just because of GB1. That's why you just need a limit enabler. The deck kicks off right away. There. So let's try not to slow down the process.
Yeah, in a way, I guess it would make better sense for the limit enabler to work rather than the GB1, so Magnum Assault. So. Okay. Yeah, so the elephant in the room. Draconic Kaiser Crimson.
Go on.
Draconic
Go on.
Kaiser Vermilion the Crimson. Okay, first off, 2 years ago, I played Vermilion and the Blood. I cry blood.
Dempster, can you play any sort of like bedtime story right now? Because I think it's gonna be better.
Nah, I'll keep it short because I don't think anybody wants
We're still gonna
to
play it,
story.
so.
In any case, when Magnum and I played, when Vermilion and the Blood shows up in season 2, and I was forced to play that deck because at the time DN was restricted only down to 2 because everybody's playing it. Everyone's playing it, and that DN at the time was so threatening that it went even into the tournaments. Everywhere was DN. There was literally DN for everything. Until Bushiro puts up a restriction for DN, and it was the end of DN. So, okay. Then Vermilion has a very heavy cost at the time, and I was still very inexperienced player, and I was just vision morning most of the time. Really, I swear, I was having such a hard time trying to play the deck. Then I realized that it was wrong, like 2 years later. Okay, any case, as just in case people who doesn't know about what Vermilion does is that Vermilion is a limit break, counterblast 3. This turn, he gets a skill that allows him to attack the opponent's front row, including the 2 rearguards and the Vanguard itself, and plus 2k, and he's a 11 base. Let's say he has got no rearguards, he minus down 2k. He has a classic Overlord basic A skill, that if it doesn't have any other of the same, he minus 2k. Okay? That was the problem of Vermilion, it was expensive. Then there was the Blood, which is worse. Ultimate break, counterblast 3, same thing, plus 5k 1 critical. That was almost redundant, it was just hard to pull off. You're better off just staying with Vermilion, but then there's 13 base. For Crimson, right? Crimson's skill is that when you reach limit break and you're in your Legion mode, you can choose one active skill from your Vanguard and erase the cost. Which In this case, instantly Vermilion becomes free. And the worst case that could ever happen to you, like 90% of the times, that he has the Narukami enabler, limit enabler, and that's it. The guy will just swing and like koalas in the rain. they don't care at all. They will just rip you to shred. Okay, that's mostly for Vermilion. It's straightforward. There's nothing else the deck actually does. It's just hit hard.
Very hard.
Very hard.
And nothing else. The deck just hits very hard and front row only. Nothing really very in depth into the set because it's just hit hard. It doesn't have like on hit something happens or that something happens. It doesn't. It just hit hard. That's the only setback I feel about the card. And overall speaking, the card is actually quite sick if you know how to play it. Okay, as for the rest of the boosts for Narukami, right? The Vanquisher set. Okay, this is actually very unique. Okay, the Vanquisher set goes back to playing Binding as its predecessor, right?
Predecessor, yeah.
Predecessor, Dangri and Dangri Unlimited. Those guys play Binding, but you bind your own cards, which gets a bit counterproductive from time to time. I buy my Hue Trigger. Oh god, why? But this time round, they decided that they should bind their opponent's card instead, which was initially OTT has.
Yes, it had with Eurydice.
It only had one card, so that was
yeah,
not
but
much.
for a while it was fun for a while. Then it became redundant. So okay, as for Vanquisher on the other hand, Vanquisher has a similar tech skill called with Blade Master. He also plus critical on his GB2. Which, because for the same reason, once you run out of cost, the deck itself is technically dead.
Yep.
But otherwise, everything else about the set, right, is about binding your opponent's drop zone. If your opponent is a Grand Blue or a Legion, yeah, Grand Blue.
Could you not, please?
Yes, I am. Okay. It becomes a very, very scary thing, especially that strike unit. The basic R strike is even stronger than the Kagero ones. Because when it hits, okay, your opponent choose one unit and retire, and then you choose two cards from the drop zone and bind them. And the first thing you want to get rid of is all his criticals and all the things that combos in his deck, you know what I'm saying?
I will tear those cards in your sleep.
Okay, fair enough.
The Wrath has spoken.
The Wrath has spoken.
No, the Grand Blue player has
The Grand Blue
spoken.
has spoken. So, okay, and if you are a deck that plays Legion, right, this is gonna be a lot of problems for you. But let's say you don't play any of those and you play like a normal standard strike deck without Legion, the deck doesn't really do much to you at all because the card use is used.
Yeah, you just become a koala in the rain.
Yes, but the bind also does things for the cards in this set. It doesn't just bind for no apparent reason, unless you're playing Crimson, no fucks given. So, yeah. Otherwise, Vanquisher will need the bind because it is one of the costs that he needs. He needs your opponent to have bind units in his drop zone and everything else will kick off. Otherwise, there's really much. Then, upon for their A strike, Supreme Command Dragon. That thing is totally I swear. Okay, that thing, when it comes into play, turn over one of your Supreme Command from your G zone. And when there's two or more G units flips up, destroy one unit in the front row, in your opponent's front row. And this turn, your entire front row gets plus 5k for each empty front row. Which becomes very, very disturbing. And the worst is that Narukami boosts for this set, for Eradicators, are very aggressive things. Very, very aggressive. Especially the Great One. There was this Great One that does this. When this card cannot attack Rearguard, but when it does attack Vanguard, GB1, this card plus 4k. It's a 7k, it makes it 11. Very big. And there was a Great 2 that it also cannot attack Rearguards, attacks Vanguard instead, 11k, hit, counterblast 1, draw 1, bind 1. That makes the whole deck on a different level of aggression.
Hold on a second. Yeah, so remember when Narukami first came out, we thought he was going to be like a blank text thing? Because remember all the restraint stuff, and then suddenly you have units that unrestrained abilities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember when it used to be like that? So, you know, would you say that the Crimson, would you say Crimson actually kind of played off from that? The fact that it eliminates cost?
You can say that in some way.
You can say that. So what happened to the character?
2
years too late though, but the characteristics of that felt unique to Narukami.
Yes.
I felt at the time, so, but you know, it's now turned into a little bit more aggressive version of Kageros.
No, the very thing that sets Kagero and Narukami very different right now. Okay, back then they felt like one another. Just that Narukami was a bit more aggressive and Kagero was more technical. But Narukami now is complete aggression. They're coming. It's just as their name, just as their clan state, Narukami.
Yeah.
Thunder God.
Thunder Gods.
Thunder God. It's very aggressive. And Thunder Gods are always renowned for being aggressive, like Thor and all.
You just had to say Thor, didn't you? I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
What are you going to say?
I know there's nothing wrong. It's just so cliche.
But
Thor.
yeah, Thor is a very aggressive character, even in Marvel universe. Okay, he's always very aggressive.
I thought he was British.
Can you guys not?
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, we're getting way off track right now.
Okay.
This will be a podcast for another
Yeah.
thing. So, but anyway, you know, you mentioned that there were Gear Chronicle units. What were those Gear Chronicle units?
Gear Chronicle didn't have much boost, but they have things like the Fate Rider. Fate Rider, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone faced Fate Rider here before.
Yeah, Fate Rider's skill is when you use his skill, you choose one card from the field, you send it to the bottom of the deck, and then you choose another card which is one grade higher than it and superior call it. And then you choose one unit and it gains 3000 power for each G unit that's face up. So saying what's good for about Fate Rider that it now gives Gear Chronicle the power to tutor. It now allows Gear Chronicle to search for its own Joker clone, which gains power each time you rewind. Allows you to search for your Tom clone. Allows you to search for literally anything. Like you don't even have to use it just to gain power. You can just use it to set up for next turn, or just end of the turn. Okay, I'll just search for my Tom clone and give it all this power.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Pretty much there. So.
And just the critical boost for Chronojet, just same as Royal Paladin.
Yeah, they had that, right? Yeah. correct.
And Royal Paladin also has now a new strike that has a Drag Ruler skill. When you have a full field and you use this card, your opponent takes 1 damage.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
when
That's right.
it's 4 or less. Only when it's 4 or less. Okay.
Have you faced that yet?
I did. And okay, the card is actually quite decent. The card is not overpowered. It was just a Drag Ruler, just bigger, more drag checks, and without retiring.
Yeah, but it seems a shame that the Royal Paladins got very, very little boost. It's like what, only 4 cards?
Oh come on, man! The last set was a raid, was an abundance of it.
Yeah, I know, but it just seems a bit lackluster.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they already got their huge support last season and last set, and even then the few cards are actually not bad. Like especially the Jewel Knights got 2 new toys which are pretty damn scary.
Honestly, I think it's all in all fairness, they already had their decent boost from the last set done. So as Gear Chronicle also had the same amount of boosting. Fair enough. And then there's Great Nature. Great Nature has not been boosted for almost nearly a century.
Yeah.
It's as good as a century. Okay. And then they bring back some of the promos that they print, and I'm afraid that there's no Great Nature players here in this room.
Yeah, sadly
Not
there's no
yet,
great.
anyway.
Not yet, yeah. So
Okay.
It's still alive.
yeah, it's still alive.
Great Nature's still alive. Okay.
Excuse me.
Great Nature's skill has always been about adding power and retiring and draw, that kind of.
Yeah, the characteristics has been adding power, and then it has to retire for the added power.
And
But then the characteristics of it is that it comes back,
Yes.
either to your hand or
Yeah.
back to the field. So take the hamster.
Yeah, the
The
damn
Hamtaro.
hamster.
But now they add a new.
Hamsker, yeah.
Hamster, yeah.
But now, if I'm not wrong, they add a new thing, which is if it hits a certain cap, at a certain power, then they get something interesting as well.
That sounds like Dimension Police stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did a DB link to it.
Correct.
But then again, Great Nature has always been about adding power, more power, so that kind of thing. So yeah,
Did you have to do that?
well,
Power. I'm not putting you down or anything. It just seems a bit, for some reason.
Then again, they have powers that are new.
so in any case, that's more about it for this set for GBO2. So
Oh, hold on. There's one more thing.
there's one
The
more
Korean.
thing.
There's one more thing. The Kree Elementals.
Yes.
You totally forgot about the
They
Kree
have
Elementals.
they have
man.
a few new cards.
No, not just a few new cards. They have not just the strike unit. They also have the
grade
grade
one.
1.
Oh
Yes.
yes, that's that thing that's very special. That thing can
Tier.
cost you your life.
Yes.
It'll make you cry,
Yep.
just like its name.
It makes you
Teardrop.
tear. So what tear does is actually when it is called onto the field, if you have
So Blast 2.
Soul Blast 2 and basically unflip for as many
Open G units.
open Kree Elementals if I'm not wrong. So
Open G units.
is it
G units.
Yes, based
G units? If I'm not wrong, it's Kree Elemental G units. So for those clans that do not have the strike support right now and are using Kree Elemental, it's actually a very big plus to them. They can basically say goodbye to their unflippers because tier comes in. Yeah. So with this, right, combo with Breezer, which is also in this set as well, is the R
Yep.
strike for Crit Elemental. What it does is when it attacks, you counterblast one and you flip one G-unit face up, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flip any
Yeah,
G-unit
any
face up,
G-unit
so-
face up. So that actually helps in with tier as well. So it's actually very useful. But at the same time, with clans that already have G supports, it gives you, it makes your head, hurt a lot because you'll be contemplating on whether to put tier into this deck or you should stick to your own.
I think it comes down to the question of, say you're a counterblast heavy deck, would you really put this card in?
Yes, and also.
But is it
works
worth
on-
it? Because
yeah.
consider the time of when you actually put it, when you actually put that into use. You call it the Regard Circle.
Yep.
Then you unflip for as many Crit Elemental G units that you have.
Yes.
Would that make sense at all? Because I don't feel it does. So if you think it does, then like me. So.
Currently for decks that do not have unflippers, I believe Genesis would be one.
Yeah.
If I recall, Genesis did not have an unflipper. Maybe if it does, I'm not too sure. But it will be very helpful for that clan because it's quite counterblast heavy as well. For some cards like Brunhilde, if you want to use her again, this is the best chance to use it.
Kageros.
Kagero? Nah, Kagero has a lot of it, but they got like an army of it.
They don't care.
Oh yeah, right. They have Gom and everything.
They have
so-
God, they have the new one, they have very costly.
Yep.
There's ways to unflip with this that you have just no idea.
Yep.
So many ways to cheat.
Yeah, it just makes me think, what if you play like Ember Dragon? You don't have any Goms. Yeah.
Your butt will hurt.
But how is it? Okay. So overall we kind of gone over to everything that the G-BT02 has. So, what do you guys overall after we talk about this, what do you guys think?
Oh, I love it though.
Of course you will love it, you Arkham Force player. Yeah, so what do you guys think?
Okay, even though I don't use any of the clans in this set, okay, except for the new Nectar Trial deck, I'll say the support distribution in this set, again, like G-BT01, is a bit more fair compared to the last season. Like, for example, Great Nature and Narukami and Arkaforce, all the other clans that got their massive support are at worst decent, and at the very best they're very good. And even though Gear Chronicles and Royal Paladins, they only got 4 cards, it's not terrible actually.
Yeah. So, but anybody else to say?
Crimson! But yeah. Narukami, yes. Narukami in this set I liked it, but I don't quite like Vanisher. So at the moment I'm stick to Vermilion alone. I just didn't finish the set for Vanisher.
I'm just stuck on the idea of the Crimson now being, because of its power, so on, that consistent front row slash because of the free cost right now. I just feel like that's so overplayed. Not say overpowered because it has its own fairness. But then again, a lot of people will be abusing the way that he plays also.
Unfortunately, outside, for some reason that's not the case because people somehow just view Vermilion very differently.
Is it?
Because they cannot handle the fact that the moment you write Vermilion, you're quite screwed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I can.
But you can lah. But then again, the cost would have been expensive to deal with. But then again, being able to pull it off at before you hit 4 damage with the limit enabler, that counts for something.
Yes, but ultimately, the one thing about Vermilion that I believe that most players that didn't quite understand was it's not about the amount of times you use it, but it's actually more about the time that you use it.
At that time, yes, it would have been about timing, but but now it's no longer timing. It's just whack as and when free we want. So
Yeah lah, but it's just provided you do get it up.
yeah.
It still has problems with face against Blaster Joker lah, so things like that.
True. Right. Well, I guess that's all we've got to say about the G-BT02. So, if anything else, if that's all that we got to say, then please share, like, favorite, subscribe this video, and subscribe to us on Crossbone Vanguards. We have a Twitter account. You can follow us at Crossbones VGS. Yep, and we have a blog at Crossbone Vanguards .wordpress.com. We have the stuff in the link description below, and Dempster will put it up here because I told him to.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to leave your comments below.
Yes, leave your comments below, and just tell us what your views are with this BT as well. We like to read them, and as always, just be kind. This is just a mutual discussion. We have our opinions. We do value your own opinions as well. So we don't need to go into a huge flame war over it. So.
Yeah.
Flame war.
there's
Best for
always a-
toasting marshmallows.
If there is a flame war, I believe Aquaforce will be here to quench it, so don't worry. But that's not the point.
Kagero will not be flaming.
But yeah, on a
fanning
more
the
serious
flames
note,
away.
we would like to hear your constructive feedback. We would be very interested to hear from the many players.
Everyone has different views, so
Everybody has different views, and this
Yeah.
is just our own, and we just thought, we just like to share with our views as well, because this is what Vanguard is kind of all about, just us discussing, just sitting down. I'm sure we're not the only ones that just sits down, with our friends, and then we just do discussion. It's just that we have sound equipment here.
Okay, let's just
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll call it here right now. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next video.
bye.
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 See ya.